YouTubers, Troz here, back with more Satisfactory. It's been a while, and I'm not quite back to where I was. And, a little bit of save lag here. Speaking of which, there was apparently a update released today, which for you would be probably yesterday, or way in the past if you were not watching it shortly after I released this video. But they retracted it because apparently it introduced a few bugs, one of which was you couldn't research at all, so that was a problem. But it would have given an option to delay or change how often it makes those autosaves, so when I was making a video I could set that way down so it wouldn't be an issue. But I have made progress here. Trains are still bugged, and that's been somewhat holding me up. As you can see, I have a few more train stations. There's one over there. There's one up here now. That's the original one I had. I actually have another one kind of under that one. Back there, because as I said last time, or in that update, that hey, I'm gonna rebuild this whole thing. That's why the whole top floor is kind of torn up. Yeah, we're gonna need a lot more materials, and so I have lots of train stations to bring them in now. But as you can see, trains are still messed up. Like there's a gap there. You can see there's when I look at the locomotive, that's the knuckle of the locomotive, and then this connects to that one, and then after these three are those two, and I can actually show you that, yeah, this all is one train. If I, let's say, I move rubber down here. Yeah, that should do it. And then I get off this train. Oh, that one went straight. Yeah. Yeah, it's very broken. So apparently trains have, they have the abilities to set the switches. But if while one train has gone, or partially gone through a switch, another train can switch the switch, and the cars will follow the switches, not whatever's pulling them. Which is what I would consider a bug. Seeing that we now have a car leading the locomotive by a good, 10 lengths or so. Yeah, so that's made things a little difficult. But let me show you what I've done. Because that's what you're here for. So this new materials used to be basically the only train when I was only going to be producing 5 fuel rods a minute, and it would be bringing in iron, copper. This would be caterium. And then I think this would be coal. Yes. And then rubber. But we're gonna need a lot more materials now. So we're still gonna have iron and copper here. I set up another copper here. I'm gonna save these two just because they're decent for my main factory. But yeah, we needed to basically double the amount of copper, so there wasn't a good copper node near the track, so hey, we got one right here. We'll might as well use it. So that goes and merges into the copper line. The rest of the 3 here, well, these two, the caterium and the coal, I need to empty them out because they're all 3 here are going to be rubber because we just need that much rubber. The thing is, I haven't updated the rubber production yet. But yeah, we basically need to triple it to get the amount of rubber we need. The other thing, well, now, to make up for the materials there, we have a caterium train right here that actually is picking up from the one node we were picking up from before, but also has a way further away node, but it's a pure node that it is also picking up from, and that will get us the approximately, it's either 700 or 900 a minute that we need. Then, well, the coal that we were also picking up has been moved over to this station, and there was a second coal node that was over there, and so now we're picking up both. Oh, and you're all, oh no, you're not missing your cars. You actually have your cars intact. So he's going to be picking up just coal and bringing it back. Finally, there was 2 new materials that we weren't using before that we will be using now, and they're here. This is going to be Quartz and Sulfur, and I put in a whole new line for this. So the first 2 here are quartz, and then we got the third car of sulfur, because we're not going to need as much sulfur as we're going to need quartz. Although it is like 600 a minute, so I'm hoping 1 car will be enough. This line also was interesting in that it goes one way up a shallow slope, let's say, stops to get the sulfur, then continues on to get the quartz. It turns around, kind of coming back on the same line, but then takes a more direct line back, which is this here, and it's steeper, but hey, we're going downhill, so that shouldn't matter. And it basically merges in right here. So all the train should have to do is, you know, come around and then back up this side to come in the back. The slower way is basically going halfway back to the main base and then up a hill, but it doesn't come back this way. It's shorter. I'm not sure why it doesn't, but it basically then just drives back through the sulfur station and then comes back here. It's much longer. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Factorio definitely wouldn't do it that way, but you know, this isn't Factorio, but I don't understand the routing. I'm guessing that the developers really didn't test too much with multiple trains on a single line. Like, the way I have my line set up right now, any train can get to any station. Yeah, there, actually, that is the sulfur station there. Yeah, it was way too steep to go up to that, so it basically goes around, makes the bend, then goes up a slope over to there, then over to the quartz. And in fact, let me show you that on a map. So here is my nuclear facility. The purple are the train tracks. Oh, I guess those, well, this is from before I loaded this save, so like those are train cars, but they're not there anymore. I guess those are the other 2 train cars that were part of the nuke materials trains, but yeah. Goes down here, around the corner, and then up. Here's the sulfur. We got the sulfur node here. We come over this way. This is kind of a cave here. We got 2 minor Mark IIIs on pure raw quartz. 480 per minute. Got a train station here. This is a personal access station. But yeah, it then turns around back, and I had intended for it to just take this, hey, shorter but steep downhill right back, but no, it wants to go back this much longer way. Here was the station where we were picking up the iron, copper, and caterium before. The caterium has now been put onto its own platform. This was the coal station. You can see we have the second coal node over here now as well, and I've put in a turnaround loop so the coal train can just come to the station and then kind of turn around to come back, without going too far. And then here's the path out to the other caterium. This is a pure caterium node. It says 480 per minute, but I think I have that overclocked more than that. But we'll see. I'm not entirely sure everything I implemented. And yeah, here's the oil. I haven't touched this. I definitely will need something like 30 refineries. I just have 10 at the moment because that's what we previously needed. I haven't upgraded this yet. So let's take a quick tour of some of these, and then I'll show you the work I've done here in the factory that will be producing the fuel rods. Haven't completely torn out the second floor, but the first floor is all set up at this point. Well, let's show you the quartz and sulfur a little closer, because that's interesting, and then I'll show you the caterium, and then we'll go through the first floor and probably call it an episode. And I will get working on the second floor. No, I'll do that for now, I think. Alright, we should be going to the sulfur. And this is, right now, the same path as back to our main base. In fact, you can see the space elevator over there. And we have this little turnoff. This is a little steep right here, but the rest of this isn't quite steep as, well, what I intended the return to be. The train goes very slow, though, even though it's not that steep. I think the trains are a little overly cautious. They really pull in really slow into the stations, and I think it's a combination of that and going uphill that it's just like takes this really leisurely pace. And that was supposed to be the return, which definitely has some quite steep sections, as steep as I could make it. But yeah, look, it's like we're practically only going, 10 kilometers an hour or something. See our whole factory from here, main factory. And so here it would load the sulfur into the last car. Of course, it's currently full because I haven't been using it. Okay, that's good. If it's full, it doesn't even do the animation. So then we do a little bit of a tight turn here. And that's a cave I should explore. But a little bit of a tight turn and go up. Through the trees here. And then up a bit more. And there's kind of this... Well, there's a cliff here, and we kind of run alongside the cliff. And go under the overhang here, build some bridges for support. Around onto this pillar, past the green slug, I think that's green. And then we start our descent here into a little cave section. Past the saving lag. There we go. This is also almost as steep as I can make it. Yeah, there's a little turn off for a personal access train. But then we turn here. Here's the two sulfur. No, this is quartz. Tell by how pink it is. I'm pretty sure they're fully overclocked. There's a rock that I blew up there, and there was a cave with a purple slug in it that I turned into the overclocked items. And probably hard to see here, but I also put a walkway because that leads up to the there's kind of a river there, which you can see a waterfall of. Do we okay. You're not, yeah. So that actually leads to the personal access station. And yeah, that leads up to the big red tree area that they just added in, so. I do that now. That should take us back, although probably not the way I want to go back. We go up this hill without too much trouble. Then kind of along the treetops. And I even have that turn the way I wanted to go, but no, the train goes this way. Which is probably double the length, if not more. Seem to pick up quite a bit of speed. Again, like, the station's way over there. Why are we slowing down so much already? Alright, this will be interesting. The one problem with having these, I don't know, disconnected cars, whatever you want to call them, is I'm not sure whether I'm going to stay stuck on this train or stuck in these cars now as we go through it. It's kind of pulling me along. Alright, that was interesting. Yeah, so that's the sulfur and quartz. So while that train parks, we can head over here. I have no idea where this train's cars are, and I've tried, like, alright, let's... doesn't like stick to that. Maybe if I put it, like... If I put one there... See, like, that snaps. Or would if we weren't in lag again or something. Yep. Yeah, that one snaps. If I get in this here, that car isn't going to move with us. So let's just move this end of line to the bottom. Yeah, you can see that's not... well... there we go. Managed to pick it up. So this train has cars out somewhere that I don't know where they are. I'm wondering if they somehow got over to my second factory and got stuck over there or something, because I don't see them over this way. This was our material station here. You can see I've put in a secondary station next to it. We'll be stopping at that one on the way back. It made this a little more complex, but here's the coal that I told you about. We now have 2 here, and here's the U-turn that I told you about. This splits off to the oil, but I put it in a new branch this way. And this goes out toward the swamp area, which is where the caterium node we're mining is. We use this land bridge over here. Kind of hug the cliff face over here. I never did get that. There's a hard drive down there. And so here's the station, and as we round the corner, yeah, that's the swamp over there, and there's the caterium node that we are mining. We should just pull on through here after stopping. Alright. headed back now. A lot of interesting landscape over here. The train could have avoided the station, but apparently, unlike Factorio, they don't try to avoid stations. But now we'll turn off the main path here to the right. This is the caterium. See, we're kind of belting it over and then up here. A little tight squeeze, but then over to this station, and it would get put in the second car if it was there. The track just comes out here and re-merges in. So that's every station for now. There will be one more station, and that will be a train going into the cave that's under here, getting uranium ore, and coming back here to drop it off. But I want that uranium ore station to be up as high as possible, so that traveling on the ground you don't get exposed to the radiation. So that will be one of the last things I put in. But let's show you what I do have in. So as we previously had, we have the iron ore coming up here, copper ore coming up here. This is a 480 belt, and this is a 480 belt coming from that copper. But they merge into a Mark V 780 belt, and it's a little hard to tell. But the 780 belts have this extra, like, bar that the 480 belts don't. Otherwise, like, the lights on the side seem identical to me, but the bar is at least how I tell them apart. And then they go into the first floor of the factory here. Oh. Yeah, let me just zoom this out. Yeah, so this is, like, here's our factory, or our nuclear factory, let's say. This was the sulfur line and quartz, and then we just took all the way here to the caterium and back. Um, no, you're not my. You're my plan. So, I have the first floor done, which basically includes the iron foundry, wire production, copper smelting, and caterium ingot smelting. The second floor, I hope to have the quick wire and steel, and we'll see what else we can fit, if anything. Steel pipe's gonna be, I won't say a problem, but that's gonna be a lot of room. Your constructors, I may be able to fit the foundries and the constructors on one row, and then the quick wire. These are assemblers, so they're wider. We'll have to see how everything fits in. But here's the iron foundries. I'm using the alternate iron recipe, which uses 15 iron per minute, 15 copper per minute to make 45 iron alloy ingots. We have, I think, 18 of these. If lag wasn't... Yeah, we need 17, but the way it works out, like, you kind of need, well, the fraction doesn't split nice. So if you want to split nice, I gave this full 480 and this, a lot more than that because it's getting like one extra. So we have actually 19 of these, I think. 10 going one way, 9 the other, or something. 8 going one way, whatever. So this, you can see we have, here's a split. These are all going to go to, well, it was right here. I should have looked. Oh yeah, steel is coming off that way. This way it goes to our copper iron wire. Well, wire production, it would normally be copper, but we have the iron wire recipe. This also is split into, well, I will say 2 outputs, but it's really 5 belts. I actually don't have the belts here. Let's at least do that semi-quickly. We'll put right on the line here. And not you. Again, we're going to be using the 780 belts here. They're not going to be completely full, but we're definitely getting more than 480. I think we're getting like 520 or 40. So we have 15 assemblers on this side and 15 on the other for 30 total. So I have 7, and this one is split into 2. Actually, no. Both of these are gonna be full. In fact, we're kind of overproducing because I think these can hold 7.1. But this side is also being split onto 2 of the belts. Did I do my math? I should double check my math. These may need to be the 780 belts. Anyway, the first 2 over here are being split off, and these will go to produce circuits. Because of the recipes we're using, we only need 2 circuit board machines, so they only need a little over 100 wire. because the circuits are only needed for the AI assemblers, which we only need for crystals. So we only need, 13 of those a minute. So 26 circuit boards a minute. Not that one, that one. So let's hook this up and get our wire production started. And yes, I'm using manifolds everywhere, so these will have to back up. But seeing that they take 15 per minute and we're blasting it with how much? 514. Okay, I did do that wrong then. Look at that. You should be at least right here, and right here, and right here, right there, and we'll do like at least the first two belts here, so 15, 30, 45. So we're taking 60 off, which will get us a decent bit below the 480 that the Mark IV belts take. I like this game. It's enjoyable. It's just, it needs some optimization. There we go. Let's put a few more Mark Vs over here. Alright. So, yeah. These will back up on copper wire now. Actually ran these belts down here because we're getting close to the wall. The wall's here. We're getting real close. There's going to be a section here without wall just because I couldn't get the track to turn as tight as I thought it should. Why aren't... Okay, you're not, because we actually haven't gotten any material down here yet. Again, this will all back up eventually. So this takes iron and copper. And not really all that much. I mean, we are going to have another 8 or so of these running to supply for steel. But that only takes about 200 of the... Now let's see. It takes about 250 of the almost 800 that we're bringing in. Or at least should be bringing in. So the rest of it comes over here to 18 copper smelters. And we make copper ingots out of them. Yeah, so the copper comes around and then down this side, and we get 514 or so copper ingots a minute. Then we have basically the exact same setup here. Only this one doesn't get copper. This is also 514. The exact same number, or at least it's supposed to be, per minute. And that's for the caterium. Now the caterium takes 3 ore to make 1 ingot. Let's. So the output is 3 times less, but the input's the same. It's walls that I'm looking for. Put you in, and let's. You know what? That one's fine right there. Alright, you're out. Logistics. Mark 5 conveyor belt. From there to there. And a conveyor merger on. Take a Mark 4 into there. Maybe a Mark 4 into there. And that hopefully should do a decent job merging them. One, two, three. Lag. One, two. So it's 3 solid ones, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we want one of those for down there, and hopefully okay, we do have ore in one of them. I don't think I ever got the train to work right after I stuck the second car on. You know what? You're gonna be a normal wall, or actually, let's. One of those, then a normal wall, and then have the conveyor wall right here. That's a lot closer to where it's supposed to be. Well, to line up at least. Oh. Okay. Let's get the conveyor belt in. Come right there. All right. Oh, did I forget to hook this side up? Okay. This side is hooked up. Let's hook this side up. little tight, but yeah, we actually have 4 rows of machines here. You know, there's the 2 copper and... Well, I'll have to get iron plate and hook this up later, but that's basically this first floor. There's a little room here, but not enough to put in any real lines. I mean, yeah. Yeah, so as I said, I gotta rearrange some of this stuff. Like, these lines were for the wire before, hey, but now we have 4 lines of wire. And we'll bring in the coal and put in the steel smelting and the pipe, steel pipe making, and hopefully I can also then fit in the caterium wire, but that's big. We'll see what else fits, but that will be next time. This will be a bit shorter. I just hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully by then they'll have a patch out that at least does something to address the issues with the trains, and maybe has a few other fixes as well. They still sort of are on summer vacation, so I kind of understand that, you know, they only have about half the people or so in the office. But yeah, kind of definitely need these train fixes. Definitely make them a lot more useful if they actually, like, stayed in one piece, like trains are supposed to. Alright, I'll end it here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more Satisfactory. See you then.